He would do anything to like prove his point. So Durian Rider was sending Jason some threats on Instagram on if we see you in Thailand, you better watch out. Like, I'm not preaching violence, of course you don't, but my followers are very loyal, and if they see you, like, watch your back, something like that.
They might make thinly veiled threats, so it might be something like, you know, I really hope you get home okay tonight.
There's a whole document actually on the internet if you Google the truth about Durian Rider or something like that, but you can see a lot of repeating patterns in what's been said there and things that I have experienced myself and saw from other people.
Psychopaths, sociopaths, narcissists, never going to be normal. Never. Never, 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 never. They do not change. They do not get better. They get worse with age. The narcissist does not view targets, no matter who they are, as people. You've got to get this through your head, guys. They view the targets of abuse, whether that is a child, a pet, a spouse, a friend, whatever. Because remember, there is no there, as an object. That is it. That is it. We are not people to them. We are not real feeling human beings. They cannot relate to us or to animals as sentient beings because they don't have that emotion cog there. There is no there. I cannot say that enough. And that is what makes them dangerous. And so when you are dealing with a sexual predator, they never want you to forget them. It's an ego thing. It's absolutely an ego thing. And it will color your sexual encounters from there on out until you get that handled and dealt with and worked through and put the anger and the shame back onto the abuser. So that's why they do that, is because they want you to never forget them. That's one of the best ways to keep them up here forever. It's evil.
To understand malignant narcissists, you have to understand what is a sociopath, or what is someone with an antisocial personality disorder. Simply, this is a person that has no empathy, who can commit crimes, both white-collar crimes, violence, sexual crimes.
And a little bit of choking, she likes that.
Any type of crime without having remorse or empathy.
They do this as a means to control you from the grave. They do this as a means to continue to have them in your head forever and ever. Amen. And especially with sexuality. Sexuality is hugely important. It is a huge part of our lives. We are human beings. This is part of who we are. This is how we feel. This is how we express love. This is how we express desire. This is how we express ourselves. It's an expression of who we are. And so what better way to never make us ever forget them than to force us into having sex with them? It's messed up, and it happens more often than you would even suspect. And that's what narcissists do, is that they demand absolute obeying to their every whim, their every demand, their every this, their every that.
I'd like to give you an updated test for narcissism. Simply tell the person no.
You're like 40 and I'm 18 and I don't think this is right.
I just started to feel sick.
Yeah, so I said I don't think we should do this.
Most of the time they actually expect obedience. They actually expect you to do as you're told.
I said no and tried to laugh it off.
I kind of tried to just brush it off.
He asked me again and I said no again.
He kept asking those questions.
What they will do is they will use the authoritarian, the authoritative thing and try to make it so that their word is law. You have to obey them.
He asked me again if I was sure.
Yeah, he just kept asking.
And the answer was still no.
Narcissism, it is so varied in its presentation. You can be the devious, hurtful, malignant narcissist that I've talked about in my videos, where you rise to power and you trap people by your power and hurt, murder, rape, pillage because of your narcissistic need to be in power.
I tried to brush it off by saying, oh, I think they should just like keep their distance and wait, kind of like wait and see. But he didn't.
But he didn't respect my answer.
He then tried to kiss me.
He kissed me anyway.
And I kind of stepped back and I was like, I don't think we should do this. Like, I don't think I want to do this.
He didn't listen to my excuses.
He then tried to kiss me again.
You can be the covert narcissist who on the outside acts, altruistic, kind, loving, and giving. But behind the scenes, there are deeper motives to conquer, to take, to steal, and to make everything to deceive others in order to get what you need.
And you'll often hear them talking obsessively about the subject of sympathy, empathy, and compassion. When somebody is stuck on that subject just over and over and over again, constantly complaining that the world is not empathic, compassionate, or sympathetic enough. But everybody I've seen who's got borderline personality disorder is obsessed with empathy being given to them. So they'll talk a lot of empathy, but you'll notice they're the least empathic people you can be around. The borderline personality disorder is like, empathy, people should be empathetic, empathy, compassion. And what they mean is, shove the empathy pie in this hole here so that I can eat it. And they themselves are cold, dismissive, reaction-seeking, abrasive. You know, if somebody is in pain and they're near them, they're like, I'm not interested in hearing this weakness. 2 seconds later, they're like, why does nobody feel sorry for me? Why am I not receiving any fucking empathy? Which is why they drive a lot of people completely bonkers.
They really just hate women. A lot of narcissists hate women, and you know, they just hate them. So they're either into humiliating them, degrading them, or you know, just absolutely treating them like garbage, or sex that the victim's not comfortable with. Sometimes that sex, because narcissists, especially the more sadistic ones, are very into humiliation and degradation. And so like degrading their victims. So making them do things, especially sexually, that they're not comfortable with. And these kinds of forcible sex acts, that has nothing to do with sexuality or sex or lust or any of that. That in itself is complete power and control. People don't get raped or molested because they're asking for it, or they don't get, these things don't happen to them because they're, you know, there's nothing that they're doing to cause this. So there's kind of like this other dark side to that hypersexuality where, you know, it's not uncommon for victims to be raped. People are very uncomfortable with that word rape. They're uncomfortable with a lot of words. And I think because people don't want to use those words like rape or abuser or victim, because those words are so strong, right? Like they're such heavy words, and it's sort of like saying, well, if I admit, it's easier for somebody to say, well, he's not raping me, but I feel like I really have to have sex with him, or there's going to be consequences down the road. But really that's forced sex, and it is a form of rape. But that word rape is very uncomfortable because it's sort of like, well, if I admit to saying that I was raped, then that means that I'm a victim, and that means that he's a rapist. And that means that this is really, really unhealthy. And then I can't stay in here, and I don't want to be a rape victim, right? Because I don't want to have to deal with being a rape victim. And how am I going to tell people that? And nobody's going to understand, because the rest of society has this idea of, well, rape only happens if it's in a dark alley and it's a total stranger and he has a knife to your throat, right? But that's not the case.
I'm the school teacher. This Road to 4 Bike Fest in Chiang Mai is my little school group. I was the fucking scumbag weasel, fat-wristed, happy meal-faced fucker. He's coming in from the outside into this school group. All right?
Yeah.
So this is during my daddy, the teacher. Kids, this is what you should eat. Go ride your bike. Go to bed. It's late. I was coming in on Facebook. Hey, what are you up to? Where are you staying? Does it make sense? So I'm in contact with his kids.
90% of people who are victims of rape or sexual assault in this country are raped by people who know them.
So if HC wants to continue these allegations that she was raped by me or sexually assaulted by me, then let's put it all out on the table.